This is probably the most satisfying part. Yeah. Well, it's back from the body shop, and man, they just knocked it out of the park. I took the M3 to a place called Hughes Auto Body. My buddy Chris works there, and he made sure that this thing got taken care of, and they actually found even more damage than I had found. They found that the one of the rockers was caved in from using a forklift to move the car around, which could have happened at the auction, but likely happened when the previous owner unloaded it from a box truck. They also ended up replacing this top rail here. The rail that was there was, you probably could have straightened it, but they ended up replacing it because the part was cheap, and it was actually cheaper to replace it, and most likely better in the long run. They also fixed the apron where it meets the frame rail. They seam sealed everything. It looks just great. Here's that rail they replaced. This piece here, which you can still buy new. Like, they didn't have to like take it from some other car. It was like 145, 150 bucks. Well worth the replacement now that, as you can see, all of these fit just how they're supposed to. Nothing's like slotted or messed with. They also kind of knocked out this panel in here. I don't really have a good light on that. That was a little bit bent, but the car is straight now. Everything will fit correctly. Very happy with it. They pulled this apron out, and then they fixed the popped spot welds back here. So they did a really good job. I'm really impressed, and I cannot wait to continue to buy more expensive parts for this car. They just have really nice gaps here. The car will need some paint correction when it's done, but this was so out of whack before. It's so much nicer now. Very pleased with this. So sorry if I sound a little congested. I'm congested. The next step is to continue to undo things that the previous owner has done. A lot of times when you buy a car that's been repaired or doctored to run through the auction looking like it's not wrecked, they do things not really by the book, or not even what I would consider close to by the book. So as you saw in one of the previous videos, there's a few screws that are not supposed to be there, and unfortunately they ended up drilling holes in the core support. And this is what I mean. This is just like, really? I'm going to have to replace the entire core support because of that. I know it's not really a big deal, and it's not bent, and it won't cause an issue, but it bothers me. I can't have some random wood screws drilled through. I just can't do it. So I'm going to put a core support on it, which is going to be some work, but not too bad. I did find out, actually, that the last time that the AC actually does work in this car, the whole reason the AC didn't work was this was not plugged in. Like, really, I just plugged it in and the AC works now. Also, after a lot of thinking and deliberation, and I do not want to deal with two somewhat usable bumpers that need a lot of work. The original one is very cracked. The one I bought as a replacement has been kind of hodgepodge back together already. I'm going to buy a brand new front bumper. I'm going to go to BMW and buy the European front bumper without side markers. That way, when paint goes on it, it'll look perfect, it'll stay looking good, and it won't bother me, because then I won't wonder if I get a rock chip, is the paint going to come off of it, or if I touch it on something, is the thing going to crack because of previous repair. So I think the best bet is to buy a brand new bumper. Kind of expensive, but also need to buy headlights, which are kind of expensive. This car's getting pretty pricey, but hopefully I'm still in it pretty reasonably at the end. So as you can see, the car is coming along quite nicely. Probably most of the way there. I maybe have an afternoon left to put the front end back together. Again, I still have to buy some more parts, which that's going to sting a little, but that comes with the territory. I'm also collecting bad Laguna Seca blue parts. Actually, all I really need is the right front corner of an E46 M hood in this color. If you've got one that's got damage on the other side, or even if this corner's damaged, I'll hammer it out. I don't care. Just zip this off and shoot me a message. I got cash for you. Don't forget to subscribe. The next video, this car will be back together, driving around the block and probably discovering a whole lot more problems that I have no idea that exist.